Welcome to Focus on Health, a series of educational programs highlighting current health issues sponsored by the School of Nursing at Salisbury University. I'm Dr. Mary DiBartolo, Professor of Nursing at Salisbury University and host of the program. Today we are doing a segment called Cooking for Health, and my guest is Brandy Leno. You are a dietitian student at UMES, and you also have training as a chef.
Yeah, I spent the first 2 years of my college experience at Johnson & Wales University, so that's where I got my associates.
Very nice, and you are here to talk about a very hot topic, and that's the MIND diet, which is actually research-based, showing that people that eat this type of diet might be at a better risk of not developing cognitive decline later in life. So it's called the MIND diet. So exactly what does that mean?
So it's the MIND diet. It's a combination of like the Mediterranean diet, so lots of whole grains, fish, vegetables, all that good stuff, and then the DASH diet. So it's also going to be low sodium as well.
Right, and that DASH diet is Dietary Approaches to Stop Hypertension.
Yep.
I believe that's what that acronym means. So it's good all the way around.
Definitely.
Because we do know with Alzheimer's it can have a vascular component related to high blood pressure. So what are we going to do today? I think you're going to do 3 different meals for us, breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
Yep, so breakfast, lunch, and dinner, a day of the MIND diet, just to give everybody some ideas on how simple and how easy it is to prepare this kind of dish. And if you have leftovers, these keep in the fridge very well for a few days, so you can have it for lunch. You can have it again for dinner. You can have breakfast, overnight oats, keeps for like 5 days. So
very good.
Yeah, this is all fridge-friendly food.
Awesome. So we're going to start with breakfast, I believe, the overnight oats. So
Yes.
show us about that, how to make that.
All right, so overnight oats, all you really need is equal amounts of oats and milk. I choose almond milk just because I don't really like dairy milk too much. It messes with me. It messes with a lot of people, so it is an alternative for people to have.
But you can use dairy milk to
Yes,
make this.
you can use any kind of milk that you would like.
Okay.
So I have half a cup of oats. I'm doing a smaller amount just for this segment, but you can do, usually when I make it at home, I do 2 cups of oats and 2 cups of almond milk, so that lasts me throughout the week.
Is that like 4 servings then? Is it a half cup per serving?
Yes. And then we got half a cup of almond milk. So this right here is the basics. This is all you really need. You could stir this up, like put it in the fridge, and it'll thicken up as it sits overnight. So, but I'm gonna add a few extra goodies that make it actually taste really good. Stir this up a bit.
I know I've seen it with chia seeds.
Yeah, so I actually do have chia seeds. This does help it to thicken. It makes it more of what you think of cooked, thickened oatmeal on the stove. You don't, if you like it to be a little looser, you don't have to add it. Or if you do like it thicker and don't have chia seeds, you could always leave it out, and you can add just like a little bit less milk. So I'm gonna do I'll do like a teaspoon of chia seeds. So that's all you need. These things can gel up pretty quickly.
And they're very good for you, aren't they?
They're a good source of omega-3s. And they do have fiber as well, which is good for this diet. That, and then we have maple syrup. This is 100% pure maple syrup. You can use any kind of sweetener, like, I don't know, agave. You could use brown sugar, coconut sugar, anything to give it that little touch of sweetness. So I'm gonna do half a teaspoon of maple syrup. That's more of a teaspoon, but nobody's gonna get mad about that.
Extra sweet. Yeah, I won't mind that.
And then we also have vanilla extract just to give it that extra bit of sweetness. So about a quarter teaspoon of that. I'm just gonna do a little bit of that. And then I also like to add some Greek yogurt. That helps thicken it up, also gives it an extra boost of protein as well. So that's gonna be about a quarter of a cup. Let's see if I can I'm just gonna do like half of this, half of a cup.
Oh, okay.
If you don't want to dirty up dishes, you can just, you have a quarter cup, you can just use half of a cup.
Sure. I'm all for saving dishes.
Exactly. This is something that's not an exact science, so if you're a little off here and there, it does not matter. It'll all taste good in the end.
And it has to sit overnight for what, about 8 hours?
About 8 hours. So this is something, if you have extra time the night before, like in the beginning of the week, if you do meal prep, you can put this in the fridge in a big bowl, cover it up in plastic wrap, let it thicken up. And then you can do your individual servings and just spoon it out.
As you like? Okay.
Definitely. So once this is done, you can put it in individual containers already, but I like to just plastic wrap this up, leave it in the fridge, and then you're good to go. Next morning, you have breakfast.
I've seen where people use little mason jars and just divide it up in little mason jars and have their own serving ready each morning.
Yeah, that definitely makes it a lot easier, but then you also need a lot of mason jars.
Right, yeah, well.
So what you can also do is, what I have here is some already made oats. I topped it with frozen berries, and overnight it actually thaws in the fridge, so you don't need to spend all that money on fresh berries. It's definitely cheaper, especially if you're getting into the winter months. Frozen berries are always being seasoned. Fresh berries, unfortunately, won't be.
They start costing more, so.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So you can see it's, let me have another spoon. So you can see there's a little bit of liquid from it thawing, but all you gotta do is stir it up a bit. And you can see how really thick this is. This is just like your regular stovetop oatmeal. You can eat it cold. If you like it hot, you can definitely heat it up in the microwave for a little bit.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I'd like to try some.
Oats. Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna put some out in this plate.
Sure. Okay. That is tasty. It's not as sweet though, but you can always adjust that if you like. If you like it a little sweeter. Although I didn't get any fruit in that bite. The fruit will help.
Yeah, definitely. This is just a berry version. I also like to do, when I make it at home, add a couple tablespoons of cocoa powder.
Oh, okay.
I do cocoa powder, make it a chocolate overnight oats, so that helps it. If it's not as sweet, the chocolate definitely helps it out with palatability. But then once it's done, I like to drizzle it with like some peanut butter, or I have.
Could you put some sliced bananas on it?
Yeah, definitely bananas. Also, I have some walnuts here. Top that with that.
Forgot to put little nuts in there. Nuts are very good for you.
Nuts are definitely good for the mind diet.
Yep.
Good source of fat.
The healthy fat, you know.
Yeah.
Your brain needs energy and fat, that's for sure.
Definitely.
Very good. I love the crunch. Very good. Okay.
All right.
So now we're on to lunch. What are you going to make for lunch?
All right. Now that you've digested your breakfast, you got to have your lunch ready. So this is going to be a Mediterranean chickpea salad. So it has chickpeas, it has cucumber, tomato, red onion, all things characteristic of a Mediterranean diet. But then we also have salmon, which is still characteristic of a Mediterranean diet, but this is actually canned salmon.
So you don't necessarily have to spend the money on fresh fish.
You don't have to spend that money on fresh salmon.
Salmon is so good for you. So there's a can.
So you can add this as well. You don't have to add it if you don't like salmon. Chickpeas are still a very good source of protein. So we have this is one of those things where I did all chopping beforehand, and once you chop it up, you just toss it in a bowl, toss it up, and you're good to go.
So I guess chickpeas are what we use to make hummus too.
Yes.
So hummus would be a good food for the mind diet.
Definitely, yeah, with some like whole wheat crackers or like whole wheat pita, something like that. We have, this is 1 cucumber. Toss that in there. Also this is about 1.5 cups of tomatoes. You can do cherry tomatoes. I did like bigger tomatoes and just chopped it up into smaller pieces because they tend to be cheaper than cherry tomatoes. Throw that in
I love
there.
the little grape tomatoes too.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna do about half of this red onion. This red onion is pretty strong, and we're gonna use some of this for dinner actually.
And some people may not like onions, so you don't necessarily have to put onion in it.
Definitely, anything in this, it's so versatile. If you don't like tomato, you can leave that out. If you don't like cucumber, you can leave that out. Add another vegetable. All this is like something you can toss up and do something on your own to your own taste. So now we'll hold off on the olive oil. We're gonna do some avocado next. I didn't want to slice this up beforehand because it tends to brown.
Well, avocados are very hot,
Yes.
healthy food item these
Hot,
days.
healthy, good source of unsaturated fats. They're seasonal all year round. So what I'm doing here is just chopping around the stem. And then once you twist it, pops right off. And then see how this works. Usually I just chop it like that with the knife, but honestly, you can just tuck it out.
So it's one avocado then?
Ooh. This thing does not want to come out of here.
Yeah, I know one trick is if you had a bigger knife, you smack
if I had a
it,
sharper
then,
and bigger knife, you
yeah,
can just do that.
it comes right out.
And then I'll dice this up a little bit in its skin. Since it's not very sharp, it won't puncture the skin, so you do want to be careful about that.
Right.
You could easily also just peel the outer layer of the skin and then chop it up on the cutting board that way. So we have
My
some
problem
dice.
is figuring out when the avocado is ready to use,
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
not too hard and not soft.
And then people like to squish the avocado in there, so you do get some of these brown spots sometimes. So this is,
Yeah.
the skin is easily peelable, so
Right.
you can peel it and then chop it up on the cutting board as well, just like that. But I'm going to just do cross sections like this, so it dices conveniently in its little casing.
And just kind of scoop it out.
Scoop it out with the spoon we used earlier.
Well, that's easy enough.
Yep, nice and easy, good to go. Stir this up a little bit. All right, and now we can go ahead and add our salmon. And then I have here a lemon, so we're gonna do like about half of this lemon, just squeeze it in, drizzle in some olive oil, and then we can salt and pepper it to taste. I'm just holding my hand here because I don't want to get all these seeds in
I
here.
have a nifty lemon gadget I love to use that you put the half a lemon in and squeeze
Oh,
it.
yeah,
and
I need one of those.
Yeah,
Those things are so convenient.
It's very helpful. I use lemon in a lot of things. Really adds a nice flavor.
Yeah, it's an easy way to add flavor without adding too much sodium, too. I'm gonna squeeze that in there. And then I'm gonna do a little drizzle of olive oil, so probably like a tablespoon or so.
Is it extra virgin or just?
Yep, extra virgin olive oil. So this is like a store brand, so it says robust taste, so it's one of those olive oils that you don't want to cook. These are the ones where
Right.
you want to keep the natural flavor of the olive oil.
And it is great for salads in that way.
Yep, so it's all coming together. All we need is some, I'm gonna do a little bit of this cilantro. This is about like a 1/4 cup.
That's one of my favorite herbs, is cilantro. And you either like it or you don't, it seems.
Yeah.
But I love the flavor of it. It's great
if
in
you-
salsas and
And if you don't like cilantro, you can always leave that out. Add some parsley. You could do dill maybe, any other kind of herb that you like. I'm grinding some pepper, this is probably about like 1/8 of a teaspoon. And then do some salt to taste. Again, because this is DASH diet, if you want to limit your salt, you don't have to add the salt. You can add a little bit.
yeah. I try to just use pepper and not even go with salt unless
Yeah.
I have to.
Pepper
Yeah.
does help with that as well. All right, and this is all good for lunch.
All right.
You could serve this with whole wheat crackers. You could stuff this inside of a whole wheat pita. Just serve some bread on the side and dip that in some oil as well.
Looking for some avocado. You pick through it. It's one of my favorites. All right, let's see. Very tasty, fresh. Delicious.
Thank you.
And so good for you.
Yes.
So, there are ways to achieve this without having to do a lot of the work, or you can do the work up front, the chopping up front. and put it together.
Yeah, you could
'Cause I know
definitely
we're
buy.
trying to make things simple sometimes for older adults to throw a salad together, and you can buy some prepared things at the store.
Definitely, yeah. They will be a little bit more expensive, but the convenience
know.
is sometimes really is worth it.
That's why I like grape tomatoes. I can just slice them in half instead
Yeah,
of
you don't have
getting
to
a
deal with the
whole
whole
tomato. Yeah. All right. Well, how about we move on to dinner?
Yep. All right, it's dinner time.
All right. Let's switch the bowls here.
Similar to lunch, we're going to do a salad, but we're doing more of like a burrito bowl kind of a salad. So I have everything here is already prepared. Chicken was cooked and diced. The corn is corn and the black beans were from the can. So the black beans I just drained and rinsed. Corn you just drain. I just chopped up a little head of romaine right there. So all this you can.
Well, the good news is you can buy bag salads. I know they cost
Yes.
more, but for some people,
Honestly-
they'd rather have it ready to go. And-
Honestly, sometimes the bag is cheaper. When you buy it fresh, if you don't have too many people in your household, you can control the amount that you get.
Right.
But if you do know you're going to use that 3-headed bag of lettuce, go ahead and buy it. That's going to be cheaper.
Right, especially if you think you might be wasting at the end of the day. And then
Yeah.
the chicken, you can buy cooked chicken in the bag.
You can buy
which-
cooked chicken. You can buy canned chicken as well. I do use that sometimes.
Okay. And we have some garlic here all ready to go
Yep,
versus
that's already
slicing that
minced.
up.
If you don't
Yeah.
feel like mincing your garlic and you do use garlic a lot, that is a convenience that you should go ahead and splurge for.
And you made the rice ahead of time too? Because I know you can buy the little cups that are just microwave them for a minute and you
Really?
can have a little cup of rice all ready to go.
Yeah.
Brown rice, jasmine, they have all different varieties.
That's cool. Yeah, so this is brown rice, and we did make this ahead of time, but what I did buy was, this is actually partially boiled brown rice. So on the back of this package, it does say like parboiled or something like that. Brown rice can take about like 45 minutes to
Yeah,
cook.
it
It's
does
so
take a
long.
while.
Parboiled rice takes 20 minutes.
Okay, that's good to
And
know.
it'll save you a lot of time. So you can go ahead. You can honestly probably do this in your own, just throw it in a bowl like that and like top it with some like lime juice, but we're gonna mix it up here. So that's about like 3/4 of a cup of brown rice. You can do a 1/2 cup. This is about a cup of romaine. Toss that in there. And then-
Beans?
Yep. We're gonna not use all those beans. That's a whole can of beans. So
There you go.
I'd say about a 1/4 cup each of beans and the canned corn. So we're just gonna drizzle some of that in there. If you don't like black beans, you can use pinto. You can use chickpeas again.
I know, so many beans to choose from,
I
and
know.
they're all so healthy for you.
Do that canned corn, drizzle that in there. You can do as little or as much as you want.
And chicken?
Wrap chicken. We'll do all this chicken. You do get protein from the beans, but again, chicken's just good to have if you feel like you need a meat with your dinner. And then we'll do just a little bit. This whole recipe calls for like a clove of garlic. We're just gonna do a little like 1/4 teaspoon of this minced garlic.
And garlic is so healthy for you too, if you like it.
And it's so strong too. All right, I'm gonna mix it up with this fork a little bit. Yep, so instead of going out and buying your burrito bowl, you can make one at home.
Bowls are very popular now, the different kinds of bowls.
I'm gonna squeeze.
Just some lime?
Yep. About 1/2 of a lime.
This looks like something you could add cilantro to.
Definitely, yep, that's why I saved the rest of that
Yeah,
cilantro.
very good, yeah.
Yep, I actually have the rest of that red onion for
Lime and
this as well.
cilantro just go
Yes.
together, like peas and carrots.
They're all best friends in this meal. I'm gonna toss the rest of the cilantro in there. This is all roughly chopped.
Very good.
And then
That looks great.
we're gonna do a little.
Oh, some onions.
Yep. Again, if you don't like red onion, this is pretty strong. You can leave it out, do a little bit or as much as you want. And I'll toss this up. You said you normally just do black pepper, right?
Yeah, I
So
mean,
we're
that's
just
fine,
gonna-
whatever you want to
yeah,
add.
so we're just gonna do some black pepper with this.
There's so many flavors in there. I doubt you need salt.
That lime juice will definitely
And the
help.
lime, yeah, yeah.
All right.
All
Now you
right.
got yourself a quick dinner.
All right. figure out a way to get some of that on the plate. Oops. Make sure I get some lettuce in there, the green. It looks delicious. That was really good. Especially with the lime and the cilantro.
Yeah, I love lime so much.
To flavor it up. Very good. You know, you could even put some avocado in there too, couldn't you?
I definitely could.
I mean, you don't
did
have to,
this
but-
other avocado here for
Yeah.
us.
Well, no, I mean, I think the avocado would go well with the Mexican
Definitely,
ingredients
yeah.
in there. So,
Add avocado, you can add some spice, some jalapenos if you want. Just do whatever you feel like.
right, whatever makes it tasty, or diced red pepper would be nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, wonderful. 3 different easy-to-make meals that are all within, you know, the MIND diet guidelines, which is basically healthy eating, fruits and vegetables and beans and nuts and things like that. So Brandy, in addition to all these wonderful foods you've already shown us, what are some other foods that work well within the confines of the MIND diet?
Okay, so yeah, what we saw today was some leafy greens with the romaine. We saw whole grains with the brown rice. Beans are very, very good. Olive oil is a wonderful, wonderful thing to have on the MIND diet. Unsaturated fats are very good for you.
Nuts, right?
Nuts, yeah, we did have nuts for breakfast.
I know almonds are especially good.
Yeah, people love almonds. Almonds are very good. Any kind of nuts, really. Have a variety. Basically, you eat a variety of these healthy foods, you get a variety of nutrients along with them, and then that, you know, helps along with your body, your heart, your mind.
And then obviously fruits.
Yeah.
Any fruit, I guess,
Fruits,
is good.
vegetables. This one specifically emphasizes berries because of their antioxidant properties. But which is why
Fruits
we
with the
had-
deep red and blue and purple color.
Yeah,
Blackberries are
definitely.
good
Blackberries.
too? Yep. Okay, and what would be some foods that you should avoid if you're adhering to the MIND diet?
Specifically for this diet, like these foods can be a part of any healthy diet, but just for the goals of this one, you want to try to limit your intake of cheese, your red meats, fried foods like pastries, sweets, things that you do hear about. You just want to avoid on any diet altogether. One of those things you just kind of want to save for a special treat once in a while.
Right, processed foods, and
yeah.
things like that, yeah. And those things tend to be high in sodium too, which is
High in sodium, high in saturated
not
fat.
recommended, yeah.
Definitely.
So, and of course, I think we should emphasize that it's never too early to start eating healthy. I mean, we think of, you know, people that want to prevent Alzheimer's or dementia. You start thinking about it maybe in your 50s or 60s, but it's never too early to start eating healthy.
Definitely.
Because what's good for the heart is good for the brain, correct?
Yep. You'll feel much better once you start adopting some of these changes earlier on, the better. But even if you don't follow this to a T, you'll still see benefits if you follow it consistently with whatever you can do, whatever you can manage.
Well, I know there's been some recent research to support that they now think Alzheimer's might be more of an issue of inflammation, and that diet is a very important part of reducing inflammation. So diet, exercise, all those things that we've been saying for years, right? You know, we've been talking about this for years with heart disease and that
People
kind
are
of thing.
finally starting to catch up.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for coming in today and talking to
Thanks
us
for having me.
about the MIND diet. Very important.
Thank you. Yeah.
And thank you for joining us for this edition of Focus on Health here on PAC 14.